As an artist, I often feel a strong need to return and work in this semi-wilderness we call the Pennines. Most people think that this environment up here in the Pennines is bleak, inhospitable and featureless. I don't see any of that at all. And you always take from the landscape itself the Pennine water when I'm working with mixed media, because again it's that physical engagement with the landscape that I absolutely love. It's very important for me as an artist to work outside. You get that physical engagement with the land, and actually it's essential to my work. And I enjoy it, and it's a great release from all sorts of pressures of life and being out amongst the landscape. It's compelling because of that. Being a Lancashire lad, I've always had my eye on the Pennines. I've always walked it, done the Pennine Way, many of the long distance walks, and I've got to know it really well. I personally feel that your art needs to be an expression of yourself, your influences, and also your emotive feelings and engagement with the landscape. Otherwise it has no real connection or substance to what you're doing at all. Season and location has a bearing on what you bring to paint with when working outdoors. Winter, you don't really want to carry too much, regardless of whatever time of the year. But in winter, what I tend to do, you want to work a lot quicker. It is physically cold outside, and sometimes when working with mixed media and water, it freezes, even in your containers. So I use a dry media for that quite often. My favourite medium to use is pastels. Love pastel work because your colours are already mapped out for you. And a small pastel box, if you think about them as being tube colours, you can just pick and choose, engage with each colour and mix them. But when you actually work in other ways, using mixed media is actually very exciting to do because you build up multiple layers, so you both draw and paint at the same time. Sometimes you've just got to sit down, look, absorb, and do a drawing. I feel compelled to draw and paint these wilder upland places, especially with the remnants of the past. I very much like to think my work exudes a sense of place, has an inescapable character and presence about it. The particular geography of this landscape is absolutely beautiful. The colours as well, and the wildlife, stunning, stunning. And being surrounded by that when you're working outside, that has a real bearing on your work, because you actually put all of that emotive content and that physical love and engagement of what you're doing into your work. Every stone, every mark, you know, they mean something because you've got that physical, emotive attachment to your landscape. I've never really been able to settle on one media alone. It's this need for exploring different media and what one does, and what another does, and what one works with another in the layering process. All of that gives you that both drawing and painting at the same time within your work. Pastels are my favourite media, but I have to be honest, this layering with all these different media is like the layering as well of the landscape itself. That landscape has changed over time, had man's influence and then nature taking back over, and then changed again this way and that. That's exactly what's happening in the studio. This layering process, it's another engagement with that landscape. The Pennine landscape is absolutely unique to Britain. There's nothing like it.